Hi, I'm Shelley Samone, and this is She's Arrived, a journey of self-discovery. But this isn't just small talk. Here, we go deep with stories and conversations with people who have found their thing, and through it, have stepped into their calling. Hey, it's Shelley. You've picked up the call. Good. You already know there is a cost for carrying it out. If the journey has become taxing, you may be wondering how much more you can take. But duties require you to decide what you can no longer tolerate. I don't know what you've been tolerating, but when it comes to being out of my element, I've reached my breaking point. Let me tell you, I took a position in behavioral health care as a way to make money and encourage the journey of self discovery. As part of my work, I facilitated group therapy sessions for clients who struggle with substance use and mental health issues. If you've ever tried to reach someone whose struggles you haven't experienced, then you know it's hard to get through to them. I tried to bridge the gap by creating a writing workshop where clients shared their journeys towards recovery. The stories were published in the local newspaper. But when we were invited to present them at the convention during National Recovery Month, I really thought the workshop would make an impact. National Recovery Month came and there was no follow through. No word the event had been canceled, no maybe next year, nothing. I discovered the hard way. Trying to carry out your calling in an environment where no one cares to meet you halfway is taxing. I stopped providing the writing workshop. Eventually, I stopped facilitating group therapy sessions altogether. Even with my bachelor's degree in psychology, the client's needs were beyond my capacity. They had been so damaged by abuse, neglect, addictions, and homelessness that they weren't ready to do the inner work. To them, the journey of self discovery sounded trivial compared to their immediate concerns. They wanted their own apartments, a source of income, a boyfriend or girlfriend. Some of them even asked me to be their girlfriend. Listen, you know how it is when people show more interest in you than what you have to offer. You can't let it get to you. But what did get to me was the threat of mandatory uniforms, button up polo shirts, jeans, and sneakers. This dress code may be fitting for dealing with clients who struggle with substance use and mental health issues, but it don't fit me. Still, I continued to ignore the signs that I was out of my element until I became sick and tired. One evening, while visiting a client in the hospital emergency room, I became exhausted. I didn't think anything of it. It's to be expected when dealing with emotional stress, trauma, and poor decisions from multiple clients every day. But the next morning, my entire body ached. I took a couple of days off work and was required to provide a doctor's note upon returning. So I went to an urgent care facility. When the nurse checked my vitals, she said, "Your blood pressure is 189 over 120. That is dangerously high. You could have a stroke or a heart attack." She continued to ask questions about my symptoms: headache, chest pain, blurred vision, shortness of breath. I told her, "Yeah, but I think I have the flu or maybe COVID or something." She was like, "No, you need to go to the emergency room immediately." Turned out it was an upper respiratory infection and pink eye. I let my supervisor know that I was highly contagious and my blood pressure had reached a level of hypertensive crisis. Her response was, "Feel better," followed by, "Did the doctor give you instructions for returning to work?" If you think her response was appropriate, you're right. It's the only response you should expect when in an undervalued position where there's a lack of resources, support, and the silent understanding is loud. Keep your standards low and your tolerance high. I was a fish out of water, being treated like a camel in an economic desert. Surprisingly, the lab results from my blood work were excellent. The spike in my blood pressure may have been caused by several things: the upper respiratory infection, burnout, compassion fatigue, but it all reflected the state of crisis I was expected to navigate every single day. The doctor warned that if I didn't make some lifestyle changes, I would have to be put on high blood pressure medication. That was the last straw for me. I've already started taking the necessary steps to find my element because I didn't come this far simply to survive. I was called to thrive.